first of all, macros are big trends, right? They're big trends, long-term trends. I'm not a big fan of macro, actually, to be frank, because the way I see it in running a business, if you're running a good business, there are going to be good times and there are going to be bad times, and there are going to be inflationary and deflationary times, and there are going to be times when the cost of goods is high, and there are going to be times when the cost of goods is low. This is life. Life is about cycles. The way I always view it is this too shall pass. I don't let this type of stuff bother me. The more important thing is, in the running of any business, whether it's in a few weeks or a few months or a few years, is, are you running the business on sound fundamentals? And I would encourage anyone to always look at sound fundamentals. I always think tough times and bad times are actually the best times, because they force you to re-examine the views you may have, the spending you may have done, things that you took for granted, because it puts, even though they're not going to last, actually, intrinsically, I've been through some really tough cycles in the past: 2001, 2008, 2011, 12, 2018, 2020, COVID. So the one thing for sure is this type of stuff, routinely happens every 3 to 4 years. So you should be prepared for it. You should always manage your downside risks, and not bet the bank on anything. So you would never go all in on anything that you do, no matter how sure you are. Run a reasonable diversification. So to be very specific, if you are in a CPG company, you would have multiple brands which would be catering to different target audiences. If you're running a single brand, you would be running a premium line extension, a mid line extension, low end of the market, because you're sort of hedging your bets in a way. Or if you are stuck in one segment of the market, you would have small packs and big packs. So there are many ways of solving this problem. But I think the most important thing that has been drummed into me by people who I've worked for over the years is, in these times, the single most important thing is unit economics. Okay. So are your unit economics, like, can you make it work on one person? Then you can see that I'm investing for growth or not investing for growth. And that's a dial I can turn up and down, depending on how I want to do it. But do you have sound unit economics? And are you sure of managing them well? The second thing, specifically in CPG, that you would learn in these tough times is, make sure you protect your gross margin at all costs. So even if that means a little bit of slowdown, you must protect your margin, because when these things happen, structurally something can change, either in the trade terms or in your cost of goods sold, or in your mix, which can forever alter your gross margin. And I've seen that happen, right? So without naming anything, so if you have a high gross margin country and the country shuts down, and you need to shut down the business in that forever, which I think some businesses are seeing today. I don't think many people had a structurally sound business in that country, but if you did, and it was a super high gross margin country, you need to make sure that the other countries start working. So similarly, if you have a product line, you would fix that. If there is inflation, you take the pricing, no matter how hard it may seem, at least to a certain extent. I mean, the important thing is not to outprice yourself. So also, don't swing the pendulum so far that you get carried away by these times, saying that I need to protect it at all costs. And then, as human beings, we always tend to overshoot. So, if you get into this gross margin mode and overprotecting, you swing the pendulum all the other way, and then suddenly you find it that the economy recovers, or the macro gets much better faster than you think, and then you're caught out on the wrong side. So moderation is important, unit economics are important, gross margin is important, and usually if you run a good business and a tight ship, you don't have much to worry about. It's usually about turning the dials to manage the business situation at the time. The most important thing, one last word that I would give on this, is always stay focused on your consumer, because they are the most important person. At the end, they pay the bills, they buy the stuff. So, 80% gross, I always tell people 80% gross margin of zero is zero. So, taking your gross margin all the way up when no one is going to buy is not going to make any difference. So, that's something good to remember from time to time.